Nothing to lose?
Nah, we got everything to lose this time.
But we finally did it. We finally found the gold.
Outer Banks is finally back. It took almost 2 years for the 4th season to be out, but let me tell you this, it is absolutely worth waiting for it. From beginning to end, Season 4 Part 1 was a delight to watch. Its only fault was the fact that it cut in the middle, and is now forcing us to wait for Part 2. So, without further ado, let's see when Outer Banks Part 2 will be out, what it will be about, and the huge plot twist that the cast just spoiled for us. But first, we need to talk about Part 1 so that we can understand the events of Part 2. Chase Stokes' John B. is still very much the leader of the Pogues in Outer Banks Season 4, but his role isn't as prominent as it was in earlier seasons. John B., along with Sarah Cameron, takes a bit of a backseat this time around. Personally, I have no complaints about this shift since I believe the rest of the characters' storylines were also pretty interesting to watch. Especially Rudy Panko's JJ Maybank was a delight to watch this season. I was particularly a fan of his dynamic with Madison Bailey's Kiara, as it got more depth now that their relationship is official. Kiara supports JJ but isn't afraid to call him out when needed. These two just look amazing together, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Carlacia Grant's Cleo also steps into a bigger role, with her emotional arc standing out in the early episodes. I am a Cleo stan, so no complaints there either. Are you upset that we did not get more of John B. and Sarah? Let me know in the comments. Now, onto the plot itself. Picking up from Season 3's cliffhanger, where Wes Jenrette proposed that the Pogues help him find Blackbeard's treasure, the new season dives deeper into mystery, with major character revelations and high-stakes action. The search for Blackbeard's treasure isn't the only storyline heating up, though, as JJ's journey to uncover his true parentage steals the spotlight.
Are you ever surprised by what the writers have JJ doing?
Yeah. And I'm like, let's do it. I'm always surprised. It's a blast to bring this impulsive and...
As I mentioned in the beginning, one of the biggest shocks this season revolves around JJ. At the end of Season 4 Part 1, JJ learns a truth he never saw coming. The man he thought was his dad, Luke, isn't actually his father. So even the woman whom he believed to be his mother is just one of Luke's girlfriends. As you can expect, this bombshell turns JJ's life upside down, making him question his identity. Apparently, the showrunners knew what they were doing with this twist because my jaw was on the floor. Outer Banks co-creator Shannon Burke said, "That was the most extreme thing we could think of, that JJ's actually a kook." It turns out that JJ's real mother is Larissa Jenrette, who died on a boat named Albatross, and Wes Jenrette, the man leading the treasure hunt, is his grandfather. Who is JJ's real dad then? Well, he is none other than Chandler Groff, who has his own set of complex issues. This revelation puts JJ's rebellious Pogue identity into question, leaving fans wondering how he will handle the truth moving forward. Were you as surprised by this twist as I was? Or were you expecting it already? I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it. The Blackbeard treasure hunt also takes some wild turns in Part 1. Cleo is kidnapped by mercenaries after a coveted amulet, and soon after, the treasure hunters shift their focus to the even more valuable Blue Crown. Things get even more personal for Cleo when Terrence, a father figure from her past, turns up as one of the mercenaries. However, Terrence is determined to protect Cleo from the dangers of the treasure hunt. Unfortunately, he dies while trying to defend her from a ruthless mercenary named Leitner, leaving Cleo heartbroken and motivated to seek justice for him. While Cleo's storyline is packed with emotional moments, Pope and Sarah also face danger of their own. In a race against time, they venture into the underground Ratacombs, below a church, only to be chased by Leitner and his boss, Dahlia. While the mercenaries snag a secret scroll tied to Blackbeard's treasure, Pope and Sarah stumble into a swarm of real rats. Yes, you heard it right. They actually used real rats in this scene. Creepy to say the least. As the season progresses, the stakes rise as Pope and Sarah find themselves trapped in the crypt with rising water levels, setting up an intense cliffhanger by the end of episode 5. Their fate remains uncertain, but it's clear that the treasure hunt is becoming deadlier by the second. Beyond the treasure and action-packed scenes, Season 4 Part 1 was about family, loyalty, and identity, as always. So, despite slight changes, Outer Banks was still loyal to its roots, and I really liked it. The reveal about JJ's lineage added complexity to his character and raised questions about how his dynamic with the Pogues and the Kooks will evolve in the upcoming episodes. So, we are left with a bunch of questions and mysteries for Part 2. In Part 2, it seems like the focus will be more on Sarah and John B's romance, based on the cast's recent remarks on it. In Outer Banks Season 4, Part 1, the dynamic between John B and Sarah takes a fresh turn. While they've come a long way since their chaotic beginnings in Season 1, John B is now focused on their future, complete with plans for a house, a dog, and even kids. However, Sarah is still hesitant. At only 19, she reminds John B that there's plenty of time for settling down. As she isn't quite ready for the boring stuff yet, I don't know about you guys, but even though I don't think marriage is boring, I get Sarah's hesitation to get married at such a young age.
Yeah. I think yeah, what she said.
That part.
You might remember John B and Sarah's symbolic wedding from Season 2, where they exchanged vows on their way back from the Bahamas. Sarah famously declared, "By the power vested in me, by the sky, the stars, and the sea, I now pronounce us husband and wife," before John B gave her a piece of his father's bandana as a stand-in for an engagement ring.
By the sky, the stars, and the sea, I now pronounce us husband and wife.
Their playful exchange of makeshift rings continued into Season 4 as well, with Sarah and John B exchanging rings made from an old tree at John B's chateau and an empty PBR can. Not my style, but good for them. So, will there be a real wedding for the two in Part 2? Well, apparently yes. Well, at least Chase Stokes is all for it. In a recent interview, he expressed that John B and Sarah have been through enough and think it would be a cute moment for fans to see them officially tie the knot. "I think they've been through enough, and it would be something fans would love to see," Stokes shared. I mean, if this is not a confirmation that Part 2 will have a big wedding scene, I don't know what is. On the other hand, in the same interview, Madeline Klein explained Sarah's hesitation to start a family. "I think probably it had a lot to do with the age thing, the money thing, the house thing, the preparedness thing," she explained. According to Klein, while John B tends to get caught up in grand ideas, Sarah takes on a more grounded role in their relationship, often being the one to reel him back in. "I think John B talks a lot and gets grand ideas. And Sarah is also one of the pogues that likes to kind of reel him back in," Klein continued. "Let me know if you would like to see these two getting married or not." One thing is clear, as Part 2 of Season 4 approaches, we can expect more of the evolving dynamic between John B and Sarah as they navigate their future together. But their relationship isn't the only thing heating up. The treasure hunt for Blackbeard's loot is in full swing, and new villains, like Leitner and his boss Dahlia, add fresh tension to the already high-stakes adventure. Season 4, Part 2 is also expected to dive deeper into JJ's shocking family revelation, discovering his real lineage and how it impacts his place within the Pogues. His journey is sure to add layers of drama and tension, especially as he processes being a descendant of the wealthy and powerful Kooks. This could lead to some tough choices for JJ as he grapples with his identity and loyalty to the group. Cleo's emotional arc will likely play a crucial role too. Her loss of Terrence, her father figure, is sure to influence her actions moving forward. As she processes the grief and vows to protect the Pogues, we can expect more emotional depth from her character. With all this in mind, the stakes for the Pogues are only getting higher. Hope and Sarah are still locked in the crypt with water rising, which sets up a potentially thrilling escape attempt. Will they survive? Who knows? And what further mysteries lie ahead with the treasure? The show is known for its unexpected twists, so we can expect more surprises in the upcoming episodes. Thankfully, with the release date set for November 7th, 2024, we won't have to wait long to see how it all unfolds. For more content on Outer Banks and other Netflix series, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.